Every presentation has 3 layers. The first is what is said on stage. The second is what is shown independently by various tests after the device's release. And the third is what all of this actually means for you and your wallet. And let's go through all 3 layers today using the Samsung Galaxy Ultra2 as an example. And we will break the analysis into these 3 parts. First, exactly what Samsung claimed at the presentation, then what was revealed when we got our hands on these watches, and finally what this means for you personally if you are deciding whether to buy them or not. And let's do it this way. 4 big numbers were announced on stage. The first is that the battery has grown by 35% from 590 to 800 milliampere hours. The screen has become 1.5 times brighter, from 3000 nits to 5000 nits. Charging has sped up to 40% in just half an hour. The body has become 12% thinner. All of this is presented as a single package of improvements, and at first glance, it really does look like a serious step forward compared to the model from 2 years ago. And now let's compare this with what was left behind the scenes after the presentation. The claimed battery life for the Ultra 2 is up to 60 hours with the screen on and up to 80 hours with it off. The problem is that these are exactly the same figures that Samsung cited for the first Ultra 2 years ago. The battery has grown by almost a third, yet the officially claimed operating time hasn't increased by even an hour. Moving on. Charging to 40% in 30 minutes sounds really good, but a full charge cycle from a nearly depleted battery takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours. It's not slow, but it's also not the breakthrough that the phrase 40% sort of implies. Yeah. And another point that's easy to miss. For the first Ultra, additional modes were specifically claimed, up to 100 hours of battery life in power-saving mode, and up to 48 hours in power-saving mode during workouts. For the Ultra 2, Samsung simply didn't publish such figures. They didn't improve them, didn't make them worse, they just removed them from public access. Moving on. What about the design? The screen has grown from 1.5 to 1.52 inches. The difference is within the margin of error. The case has actually become a little thinner. There you go. But the shape, the silhouette, the recognizable cushion design, it's all the same as it was 2 years ago. For the 3rd year in a row, there's no model with a classic rotating bezel. Moving on. If we put it all together, a clear picture emerges. You pay $700, $50 more than the first model cost, and for that money you get a genuinely thinner case and a noticeably brighter screen. 5000 nits, yes. A noticeably brighter screen in the sun, a new EN 1339 dive certification, and a faster processor. But you don't get an increase in the claimed battery life despite the larger battery, and you don't get the charging speed that such a marketing phrase implies. The practical conclusion is simple. If screen brightness in the sun and a thinner body are significant reasons for you, the watch justifies its price. If you were counting specifically on multi-day battery life or lightning fast charging, in reality you'll get about the same thing that owners of the first Ultra had, just in a refreshed package. There you go. But in fairness, the watch isn't standing still. A thinner titanium case, a noticeably brighter screen, a new and noticeably faster processor, official dive certification that wasn't there before, and 5 years of software updates. This isn't empty, these aren't empty words, these are such noticeable perhaps and quite measurable trade-offs. There you go. So what do you think, which of the 3 layers, the claim, the verification, or the conclusion, surprised you the most? Write in the comments. Like if this breakdown was useful, and see you in the next video.